Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is April and I love to talk about all things fashion, beauty, fragrance, lifestyle. So if that's anything that you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button. Today I wanted to focus on fragrance and share with you all my top winter fragrances. Now, this list is subject to change at any time because I am constantly on the prowl for new fragrances, but I feel safe to say that these are the tried and true fragrances that I've been wearing the last few months. And here in Alabama, we haven't gotten super cold yet, but as the weather is going to cool off in the next coming weeks, I definitely plan to pull these out. In the colder months, I definitely like to get a little more experimental with my fragrances. I tend to grab the fragrances that are not necessarily overly feminine, fragrances that may have a bit of a masculine edge to them. I like for the cooler weather, and on the opposite side of that, I really like my super sweet gourmands that I typically wouldn't pull out spring or summer. You know, there's some fragrances that I just feel like work really well with my body chemistry when it's cold. So with that being said, let's get started. So the first fragrance that I wanted to share with you all is Tom Ford's Métallique, and this is very unique. Okay, it's very different, especially in the initial opening. You get a blast of what smells like metal shavings. I mean, it's got this metallic edge to it and it's very aldehydic. There's some pink pepper in this fragrance, so it comes off a little spicy in the opening as well. But as it dries down, it's a very powdery vanilla that it's really special to me. I remember going to test this fragrance and at the mall, and I sprayed it on my arm and walked around for a little bit, and honestly I was drawn to the bottle at first because it's just such beautiful packaging. But as I walked around the store, I just kept smelling my arm, and it was one of those fragrances that really had to grow on me. And after that initial spray, I kept going back and having to like sample this perfume until I finally just bit the bullet and bought it. And I would say that it's a fragrance that is bold and unique, yet it's not so out there that it would be unpleasant. I feel like that metallic blast you get in the beginning, for me, it's just enough to be different. And I feel like it's just enough to kind of catch someone off guard, maybe, to where they wouldn't really necessarily be able to pinpoint what that smell is. But I think that you would definitely stand out from the crowd wearing this. So this is my first recommendation, Tom Ford Métallique. The next fragrance that I like to wear in the colder months is YSL Libre Intense. And this is such a good fragrance. This is lavender, orange blossom, and very similar to the original, which is a very sparkling version of this. But this is the lavender and orange blossom with some vanilla, which really gives this a little bit more depth than the original. I would say that the original has more of a kind of sparkling, effervescent effect to it. It's beautiful and it's special, and I think I will always have to have both in my collection just for different occasions, different weather. But as far as the cooler months, I really like the intense version because I feel like it pumps up the sweetness that the original doesn't necessarily have. The original is a little bit drier to me, and this is a little bit sweeter, it's a little bit cozier. It just is a fragrance that when you smell it, you want to spray it on your scarf, on your sweaters. It just screams cozy, cold weather, yet still classy, bossy, sophisticated. It is a great all-around fragrance. So that is my next recommendation, YSL Libre Intense. So So the next fragrance I want to share with you is Mincera's Instant Crush. This smells so good. They all smell good, but this one is probably my favorite fragrance to wear in the colder months. And I'm probably going to say that again, but it's one of my top favorites. It's one of my top favorites. This is saffron, ginger, jasmine, sandalwood, spicy yet sweet. It is a unisex fragrance. I don't find this to be overly feminine or masculine, but it is a sweeter fragrance to me. As it dries down, it does get sweet, very similar. Well, I wouldn't say similar, but it definitely gives Baccarat Rouge 540 vibes, okay, as it dries down. And I have found that similar to 540 as well, this is a fragrance that the wearer can kind of become anosmic to, but other people around you can smell it. It's a beast fragrance, okay? When I first got this fragrance, I took it with me to work, and some of the ladies at work loved it, and I know one for sure actually purchased it. And when she comes into the building, I immediately know that she has it on because it just smells so good, but it projects. I mean, this really projects. Everybody around you is going to smell this, but it's not off-putting by any means. This is such a good fragrance. To sum it up, it just, to me, it reminds me of going to a department store, walking into, you know, where all this fragrance has been sprayed, and then getting a whiff of like cookies baking. You know, it's just such a sweet combination with this perfumey smell. I'm not describing that very well, but it's such a good fragrance. I love this perfume. So if you have a chance to check it out, definitely check out Instant Crush. So the next one is actually a dupe or clone of a very popular fragrance. It's the OKSHA Torrid Day, and this is an inspired fragrance of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. And this is really good. I've said that about all of them, but it is. This is really good. I've not smelled the original, so I'm not able to tell you how close this comes to the original, but I can say that this smells so good that I definitely have to now get my hands on the original, because if the inspired fragrance smells this phenomenal, I can only imagine what the real fragrance smells like. So that is on my list to have one day, Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. But until then, I will finish off this fragrance. This is a very sweet tobacco vanilla fragrance to me. The first few hours, I definitely get the tobacco and the vanilla very heavy. And as this one dries down, I actually get the dried fruit from it, which it kind of caught me off guard because I didn't look at the notes completely for this when I first purchased it. So I didn't realize that that was in there. And the first time I wore it, I kept thinking, I smell something kind of fruity, you know, as towards the end of the day. And there is a note of dried fruits in here, which I like. I like that this fragrance kind of evolves and changes on my body chemistry. This is not a linear fragrance by any means. It definitely changes and kind of morphs throughout the day, but it still keeps that sweetness, which I really like. And that's what I think makes it perfect for cool weather, because it's sweet and has that depth with the tobacco, which I think makes it a little bit more edgy, just a little bit, but it's still very cozy and comforting. I feel like this could actually be dressed up or down. I could wear this easily on a date night going out and feel very dressed up and sensual, or I could wear this with, you know, a really cute sweater to work and it would still be very appropriate. So I think it's a very, I think it's a very, what's the word that I'm looking for? So I think it's a very versatile fragrance, and I really, really enjoy it. So if Tobacco Vanille is just not in your budget right now, which I get, OKSHA's Torrid Day is a great way to experience it if you can't get your hands on the original. So definitely worth a try. The next fragrance is also an inspired by fragrance. This is from Juliana's Perfume Red Carpet Affair, and this is inspired by Guerlain's Angelique Noir. Another one. This is really good. Just like with Torrid Day, this is so good that I definitely have to have the real deal in my collection one day. It will happen. We are claiming it, but until then, I will gladly use this up because this is just so good. Different from the other ones that I've talked about so far, I do feel like this is the sweetest, which is why I like to wear this in the colder weather, because it is a kind of dense, heavy, thick vanilla to me. Now, it has a note of Angelique in here, which is pretty dominant, and that does lend this herbal greenness to it, that it does give it a freshness. And in the beginning, I definitely get a blast of the Angelique. It's almost a green tartness to it, but as it dries down, I definitely get the vanilla in here. There's also pear, which I feel like adds to the sweetness, and there's cedar in here, which does keep it from being cloying and sickeningly sweet. This is not sickeningly sweet or toothache inducing, but it is a sweeter fragrance in my opinion. But it's a must try. I feel like this is very elegant. This is very classy. If you're looking for a fragrance that I feel like you could wear to business functions, this is a good date night fragrance. There's something about this that's very sophisticated, but not too mature for me. I feel like this is something that you could see ladies of all ages wearing. So don't let my description deter you, because I call it sophisticated, but it is. This is very classy, and I really enjoy wearing this fragrance. So Juliana's Perfume Red Carpet Affair. And the last fragrance that I have is also very popular on YouTube. That's what made me want to try it, and I'm really glad I did, because I really enjoy this fragrance, and I would say that this is probably one that I get a lot of compliments on. People can really smell this on me, and it's Jean Paul Gaultier's Labelle. I know there is an intense version of this out now, which I have not tried, but from the reviews that I've watched, I feel like a lot of people prefer the original, so we'll see. I may try to get my nose on it just to see what I think about it, but if you're familiar with this fragrance, you know the hype. This is one that's been really popular on YouTube, and fruity, but the vetiver gives it almost this kind of effervescent feel to the fragrance, and I really think that the vetiver is what helps this fragrance from being too sweet and also just boring without the vetiver. I don't think it would be as special as this is, but I really enjoy it. This is one that had to grow on me, but the more and more I wore it, the more I've found myself really enjoying the way that this smelled on me, and that made me just want to reach for it more. So I really think that the vetiver is what keeps this from possibly becoming just another pear vanilla scent. I think the vetiver makes it special. It makes it last. I also think that contributes to why I get such good projection and longevity with wearing this fragrance. But I like this as a good alternative when I don't necessarily want anything spicy or heavy, but is going to still last me throughout the day in the colder weather, and it just makes me happy. It's a very bright, fruity fragrance for the colder months, in my opinion. So Jean Paul Gaultier's Labelle. And that is all I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any cold weather fragrance recommendations that you think I should try, please leave it down below in the comments. And also please be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I plan to have many more videos coming up, so I hope to see you back. Bye.